Hello and welcome to today's event, How to Migrate Liferay to CrafterCMS. My name is Russ Danner and I will be your host and presenter for today. Now before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions during the event today, please ask them in the Q&A area throughout the event and we'll take them at the conclusion of the presentation. Now we're going to start off today by talking about why people are migrating from Liferay to CrafterCMS. And I'm going to cover what we've heard from users and prospects and customers. And then we'll talk about how CrafterCMS helps in these areas. After that, I'm going to demonstrate a simple tool that we've developed to assist with migrations that's available as an open source project. And then we're going to talk about some other resources that you can leverage while taking the next steps towards a migration. And then after that, we'll take some Q&A and we'll wrap up. So let's talk about what we're hearing and why people are migrating from Liferay to CrafterCMS. Of course, everyone has their own reasons. Sometimes it's a financial decision or a support decision. We certainly have seen some of that. But today I'm going to be talking about the technical reasons why users are making the switch. One of the big things that we hear is that organizations want to move towards a more modern, lightweight architecture. Liferay has a lot of capabilities, but it's also a large monolithic application with heavy technologies like OSGI inside. Another comment that we hear is that users want more headless API support. Liferay does have API support, but it wasn't born as a headless system, and as a result, users are looking for something with a little bit more flexibility. Composability is another topic that comes up a lot. Liferay supports modular plugins, but the platform itself is monolithic and covers a really wide variety of needs, and that's good, but organizations are looking to break up these monoliths into smaller pillars like CMS, search, personalization, and so on, and Liferay's architecture doesn't lend itself to that. Core CMS features, versioning, and better support for managing content across environments is all something that we hear about. Liferay does have some of these capabilities, but Liferay is not focused on these capabilities, and as a result, we're often told that this is an area where there are some pain points and limitations. Okay, now let's quickly dive into how CrafterCMS can help with these items. And our first one is architecture. One of the key challenges with Liferay is scaling the architecture. Liferay's delivery tier is dependent on a database. Liferay is scaled by scaling the application and database tiers. Typically, authoring and delivery live in the same infrastructure, and this has several disadvantages. The first is that authoring must be scaled to the needs of delivery. The second is that authoring capabilities open up a much wider attack surface from a security perspective. And the third item is that authoring and delivery usually have different security and authorization and authentication requirements, but this kind of architecture where they're in the same system makes it difficult to support that requirement. So Liferay, in a sense, is much like a traditional coupled example that we see on the left side of this diagram. That said, Liferay also supports the ability to move content between installations through a more complicated mechanism which maps to the second model. In either case, the issues remain the same. CrafterCMS's architecture is pictured on the right side of this diagram and is fully decoupled. Authoring and delivery live in completely separate infrastructure and have a publishing mechanism that connects them or sits between them and connects them. Further, there is no database tier in the delivery system for CrafterCMS. Crafter uses disk or S3 storage with an open search index. To scale the delivery tier, you simply scale the application tier, and it's very simple to do that. This allows authoring and delivery to be secured and scaled independently, and it's a much stronger architecture for large installations. In addition to being fully decoupled, and thus much more secure and scalable, CrafterCMS has a much more modern Java and Spring stack and supports both server-side and client-side rendering. Further, it lets development teams work with any front-end framework, so you're free to choose the front-end technology that fits for your use case and your team's skill set. Better headless support is also a topic that comes up when discussing Liferay migrations to CrafterCMS. CrafterCMS provides a really wide and powerful range of headless APIs for both authoring and delivery concerns. We have out-of-the-box REST APIs you can use with no coding or configuration required. We also have a powerful GraphQL API that gives you the ability to create custom endpoints and control the shape of the response to some degree without needing to code at all. And this is really, really powerful stuff. And we also give you the ability to script your own APIs on top of our services so that you can integrate with your own custom and external services, and you have full control over the shape of your API requests and responses. And this is really important in some use cases, and this flexibility doesn't exist in a lot of platforms, but it's very simple in Crafter. Now here's a big topic, composability. And composability is a buzzword in the industry right now. Nearly every vendor has some angle on how they fit into the composable story, and that's fair. Supporting the ability to plug in new capabilities into your platform with standardization around how capabilities interact does make your platform composable to some degree. To this extent, Liferay and many other CMS platforms that support plugins and a platform around those plugins are composable. However, Liferay's own internal architecture is quite monolithic, and Liferay, as a platform, attempts to cover a really wide range of capabilities and use cases. The problem is, as a monolith, you have to take some of the good with the bad. As organizations mature, they don't want monolithic applications. For many years, the software industry has been breaking down monoliths into microservices, or what we would call mock architecture. This was a genesis of headless CMS. Headless architecture offered much more flexibility and allowed best-of-breed solutions to thrive and win in the market. The issue with this architecture is that it introduces a lot of complexity and integration. As a result, composability was conceived. In composable systems, capabilities are much more than APIs that must be managed and integrated. They are self-contained, discoverable, orchestratable units that can be combined and recombined without a lot of integration. Here we can see CrafterCMS in the context of a composable DXP. Unlike Liferay, its central role is CMS. And there are many other concerns or capabilities required by DXP, but CrafterCMS does not need to serve these roles in the system. Importantly, CrafterCMS can and does have capabilities to support many of these and other common needs out of the box. But because of CrafterCMS's modern architecture, it plugs into composable DXP naturally, giving you much more freedom and flexibility to fashion a solution that meets your needs exactly with the vendors that you want to use for each need. Another topic that comes up when prospects and customers discuss other platforms is CI/CD and pain points with versioning and multiple environments. If you're doing any amount of development, then you absolutely have multiple environments. CMS administrators need to be able to easily move code and content between environments. Because Liferay is primarily a database-based system, this is pretty difficult. Crafter, however, is Git-based. Git underpins our content store, our versioning, and our mechanics for supporting CI/CD processes and moving content between environments. Authors use CrafterCMS to edit and manage content. Behind the scenes and invisible to them, Git is used to capture every change in a time machine-like versioning system. And the versioning capabilities here are incredible. You're not just capturing one object's version at a time, like you are with other CMSs, including Liferay. You're capturing a moment in time across all of the content. You can roll back a single object, or you can roll back a lot of changes at once. It's a really, really strong versioning system and works really well for content. And most of us are familiar with this as developers because we use the same thing for code. Now, speaking of developers, developers can use their own favorite tools directly against Git repositories linked with the system to create new functionality. So this makes them happy because they don't have to use CMS specific tools to work with the system. They can use their own tools that they're familiar with that makes them quick and makes them efficient, and this is a huge win for developers. Our deployment and publishing system leverages Git to detect and distribute changes approved in the authoring system and push them out to the delivery servers so that they can be consumed by end users. And operations teams, using standard CI/CD tools and standard CI/CD mechanics, can move content back to lower environments to support testing and move code forward to facilitate deployment. We call this frictionless collaboration between authors, developers, and operations dev content ops. And you can see here there's a lot of benefits to having a platform that is thinking about and providing capabilities for this specific need, including faster time to market, existing tools and process integration. Your teams are able to work locally, they're able to work globally. There's a lot less friction between the content and the DevOps teams because they're all working in the same repository so they can collaborate more effectively. And we can move content and code between environments much more easily than if we were in a database. We had to export content from one environment, move it to another. A lot of times in those scenarios, you have to decide if you're going to overwrite content. With Git, we know we can do merges, and we don't have that situation. So there's a ton of benefits to dev content ops here, and it's one of the big problems that we can solve for customers coming from Liferay with some CMS pain points. Okay, we've talked about some of the issues that people have with Liferay, and we're covering some of the benefits of CrafterCMS. Now what I want to do is jump to a short demo of an import tool that we've created to bring content from Liferay into CrafterCMS, as well as content types. Now we've started with the structured content. These are objects within Liferay that are user-defined properties, and they map very well to content types in CrafterCMS. And then you have instances of content that are created based on those structures, and these, of course, map directly to content objects in CrafterCMS. So our tool makes it very easy to bring these objects from that system over and into CrafterCMS. And I'm just going to show you how easy that is. You're going to see it's a click of a button, and you'll be able to bring those things into your platform. So let's take a look at that. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to this left bar here, and we're going to open up the content and data area, and then go to web content. All right, so click on that. And you can see here I've got a couple of articles, a couple of content objects based on a structure. So let's click on structures. I've got a demo structure here. Let's click on that. And here you can see the structure is very simple. And we have a title, and we have an image and a body copy. So, now we're free to add as many fields as we want here. You can see those fields on the right-hand side, and these map to Crafter. And then based on these structures, we have the demo content. So if I click on, let's say, demo 3 here, you can see this example content and the image here, and then there's a description of the image that comes automatically, and then some body copy. Okay, so you can see how the instances of the content map directly to the structure, again, just like a content type and content instances in CrafterCMS. Now let's go to the structure here, and just for fun, let's add another field. We'll grab a text area and drop it. Let's see, I want to drop it here underneath, so let's do that. And here we're going to call this author name. So it's going to be author name, and we'll make that required, and we're going to save that. Okay, now we're going to go to, let's say, demo content 1, and scroll down, and there's our new field author name. So I'll just add my name there, Russ. All right, great. So let's publish that content. Okay, now we have done work in Liferay. Now let's go to CrafterCMS, and here we can see in the components area, there's no components. And if we go to project tools here, we've got content types, and you can see that we just have the out-of-the-box content types for this template here. It's a Hello World style template. We also have this plugin for importing a site from Liferay. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button. This is a plugin, and will be there for as long as we need it. Then we can remove it from the toolbar here, and it's already configured to look at the Liferay instance with the proper credentials. And so when we click it, it's just going to go out and pull the content in. So let's go ahead and click that. And it runs, and there's not a ton of content in the system, so it's pretty quick to pull that over. So we'll let this UI complete here. And then, so now we're going to refresh components, and you can see that there's now demo content there. Here's our 3 objects. Let's click on one of those. And here we can see the content. And if we scroll down, there's our author name with Russ in it. So let's go ahead and we can close that. And here's another content object. And now let's go to project tools and then content types. And here's our demo content type. Let's open that up. And here you can see that we have the same structure that we had in Liferay with the same field types. So a very easy, simple migration tool, very easy to use, and just very helpful in terms of bringing content into the system. Okay, now how can we consume this content? Well, we could consume it through templates, or another option is through a headless API, and I thought that would be worth showing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to project tools, and we're going to click on GraphQL, and then we'll open up the Explorer so we don't have to write the query. We'll let the Explorer write the query for us. We're going to select component demo and then items, and then we will choose some fields. So let's click author name, body copy or body content, the image, and then let's get the image description and the title. So we're going to pull back all objects with these fields, and now let's run the query, and here we can see our query result. So we've got author name Russ and the body content and so on. And so you can see that's the first object there. It looks good. And then if we look below here, we see the second object and author name is null. And that's of course because we only filled out that one field. You can also see with GraphQL some of the flexibility we talked about. Let's rename the author name _s field to author and rerun it. And now you can see the response includes just a field name called author. So GraphQL giving you that degree of flexibility around the structure of your output. And so again, this is a really simple demo here. We're pulling in just a little bit of content, but the point is we have some tools to help make it easy to get content and other objects out of Liferay and into CrafterCMS so that that topic is covered for you, and you can focus on some of the pain points that we talked about, like improving your dev content ops, improving your architecture, and breaking down that monolithic architecture into something much more flexible and modern and composable with other platforms in your enterprise. Now, let's talk about some resources that you can use if you're looking to get started with a migration from Liferay to CrafterCMS. Our first resource is a migration package offered by CrafterCMS. This is a consulting engagement that will help you size and plan your migration. You can use this service with your own internal team. Additionally, you can use Crafter Consulting, or you can use this service in conjunction with one of our certified partners. If you're interested in this package, please reach out to us at info@craftercms.com. Now, if you're looking to evaluate CrafterCMS's fit for your use case, you can start with the CrafterCMS trial platform. You can find a try button in the top right corner of craftercms.com, and this will take you to our trial system where you can spin up your own instance of Crafter CMS. There's nothing for you to do. We'll spin that up for you automatically and give you both an authoring and delivery environment where you can try out some of the features and functionality of Crafter CMS and see how it's going to work for your specific use case. I'd also encourage you to check out our marketplace. You can find the link on CrafterCMS.com. This marketplace is where you'll find our blueprints and plugins for CrafterCMS. And here you're going to find a lot of details, including links and descriptions and screenshots of those plugins and package capabilities that are installable into your installation to help you meet your specific needs. So go ahead out there and check out some of the integrations that we have with CrafterCMS, and that's another great resource for you. Also on the site are valuable resources like links to our online training and case studies and white papers and previously recorded webinars. Okay, so these can be great resources for learning more about CrafterCMS and how we can solve problems for specific use cases. So go ahead and check those out as well. And finally, if you'd like to learn more about CrafterCMS and how it compares to other headless CMS solutions, you can check out our page on G2. All right, that's the end of our presentation for today. I hope you found the information here useful. If you have any questions or you'd like us to elaborate further, you can reach out to us at CrafterCMS.com, specifically through email at info@CrafterCMS.com. And again, you'll find a lot of the resources that we talked about on the two websites listed here, CrafterCMS.com and CrafterCMS.org. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your time today. Again, I hope you found it useful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.